So Vivica Fox actually had some really choice commentary regarding Kevin Samuels and the late Kevin Samuels' death. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I do think it's quite interesting just seeing some of the different ways that people have responded to the death of Kevin Samuels. And yeah, I'd definitely like to talk about it. So let's get into it real quick, guys.
It's Black Lounge Entertainment, and the time is right with T-Pre.
Well, good evening, loungers. I hope everybody is doing as great as me today. I just got off from work. I'm not going to be long because I actually got a film tonight. But I did want to talk to you guys a little bit about this topic. I thought it was very interesting what I saw and also what I've seen over the past few days since the death of the late Kevin Samuels. What I have seen is different people kind of responding to his death in different ways. And I kind of wanted to talk about that and even, how some of the commentary has been and even go over some of the comments. Now, where I got this information from was from Hip Hop News Uncensored. So shout out to them. But Vivica Fox had actually made and said some very choice things in regards to Kevin Samuels and his death. Although I don't 100% agree with everything that she said, I do understand where she's coming from. And I wanted to get into that just a bit. Now, and then I also wanted to talk about some of the comments that came from this. Now, what Vivica had said was that Kevin, what she basically said, and just to put it in layman's terms, she said that Kevin had died, and his death to her was karmic. Okay, that he had spoken some pretty terrible things to a lot of Black women, and that he was very misogynistic, so forth and so on. And in so many words, she said, you can't expect to put bad energy out and not get that back. Now, I actually agreed with that. I actually do think that, it's important on how you carry yourself, what you're saying, what you're doing when you're out here. Because if you're putting out bad energy, you can't expect not to receive bad energy. And what I've really been kind of like perturbed about is when I go about in these YouTube streets or in these Twitter streets or any other place, and it tends to be a great group of people who are defending Kevin Samuels and defending a lot of the things that he said. Now, I know that that happened in life too. He had a great following, a large following of people who definitely agreed with a lot of things he said. But what I see now is people who you did not hear speaking about Kevin, good or bad, whether they had anything good or bad to say about him. They are now jumping out the window to speak positively about him. And for anybody who has anything negative to say, they are jumping out the window to attack them or jumping out the window to tell them how wrong they are for how they feel. I think this is like a bigger situation than just black and white. Okay. I think that we can't deny the fact that Kevin Samuels said some harsh things. Well, I think a lot of things he said could have been viewed as anti-black, could have been viewed as misogynistic, and definitely were misogynistic in nature. Um, and we can't just pretend that that's not true. I'm not going to say that I think it's okay to celebrate him in death. I don't think that that would be okay. But I wonder if people are missing and kind of dancing over the facts, here. Where were these men who are defending him now? Where were these men when he was so disrespectful to these women? Like a lot of the men that I'm hearing that are speaking up now are generally men who stand up for Black women. I've seen a lot of them. I'm not going to put any names out because there's in different sectors, whether it's in the manosphere or in other sectors. But some of the men that I see actually literally sticking their neck out to defend Kevin Samuels as if he was some saint. Okay. Or as if he really did not. Like, they're just ignoring the fact that he really did hurt a lot of women. Okay. Whether you want it to be that way, whether you agree with it or not, this is what has manifested. Okay. Am I going to say that he manifested his own death? No, I don't think that. But I do think that he played a role in the negative energy that surrounded him. Okay. And that was based off of what he was putting out in the universe. Now, him putting that out in the universe, I don't know if it was necessarily his intentions to do this to hate Black or to hurt Black women. I do think it was a lot of money involved. I think that at some point he stopped caring about people's feelings and cared about more about the money. Um, and I don't think he realized how much it was necessarily hurting other women. Maybe he did. And I don't know if that's up to me to decide. But I also don't think it's up to me to decide how people react to this. Like, I don't think it's up to anyone to decide that. We can't decide how people react to situations. This situation that happened with Kevin ultimately was a very negative situation. There were a lot of people that were really truly hurt by what the things that this man said, whether he intended to or not. And why I say that is because it goes deeper than just Kevin. Okay, it goes deeper than just what Kevin said. There's a lot of people who took what Kevin would say, and they would run 10 times around the block with that and make it more than what it was, or they would justify certain behaviors of themselves based off of things that Kevin would say about women. And he would make these generalized statements about Black women. Okay. And then Black women would be treated a certain way from a demographic of men based off of what they were hearing from Kevin Samuels and others. It's not just Kevin, it's others too. And it's funny because a lot of the men within the manosphere actually recognize that, especially after the Jay Black situation happened, okay, where he had went around and he had off the mother of his children and his pregnant child, the girlfriend he was pregnant by him. When that happened, a lot of the men within the manosphere started cleaning up a lot of stuff. They started having more conversations around that, around opening up dialogue a little bit more with Black women, having more conversation, having more building sessions, as opposed to, and also more policing of their chats and stuff like that, so that they're watching what's being said and what's being talked about within their chat rooms. Because there was a lot of incel behavior that was produced from conversations such as what kept, conversations that came from Kevin Samuels. So we can't deny that Black women have not experienced and seen direct evidence of harm from things that Kevin Samuels has said. We cannot deny that. I'm not going to pretend to make people feel better and to make, pat people on the back, that that's not the case. So what I don't understand is why there is so much pushback after his death of how people respond to him. But none of y'all had that pushback for him when this is the energy he was putting out. I'm not saying none of y'all, because there were men that were pushing back at him. But the ones, and I'm not talking about the people who were, already defending him while he was alive. But in death, now you're defending him as if you don't remember the painful and hurtful things he said that really did hurt very many people in our community. And that really did put a lot of bad energy within our community. Why are we pretending that that's not the case? I think that's where, my confusion comes in. And I'd like to read a couple of the comments from this video that Hip Hop Uncensored had put up. One of them came from Watkins Family Values. He said, Vivica ain't been a serious actor since she tweaked for 50 Cent, played herself, and is an example of KS commentary. Hmm. Interesting. And then it says, that's how she feels. We can't control how people feel or what they can or should say about this matter. Interesting. This person says, if a person makes a career out of verbally abusing people in the public square, why is it a surprise that they get bad mouth upon their early demise? If I had to guess, I would say Kevin Samuels may have been a narcissist. He seemed to lack empathy and seemed to have a grandiose sense of self importance and achievement. Another person said, she spoke her opinion like everyone else about the situation. What's the problem? Another person said, I love how slandering someone's name after they die has become a trend. Really showing your true colors, y'all. Cause when he was here, nobody could say ish. God don't like ugly. Another person said, that's not karma. Fox is just a bitter old woman who can't keep a man. And I'm sure Samuels indirectly struck her nerve with some harsh truth. And then another person said, don't worry, when she passes, we will all keep that same energy. So I just wanted to read a couple of these comments. Another one said, in Jesus' name, no man or woman has a right to judge each other. That's God's job. Interesting. This one said, that ain't karma. It's called natural causes. Karma is something like getting hit by a bus, unfortunately. Okay. This one said, fellas, brothers, men, the fact that women are doing this is to a dead man. Can we picture black men celebrating black women's death? This shows you how much our black women respect us. So just listening to these comments and listening to these messages, you understand, like just getting an understanding of the major differences and polar differences in the thought processes around this man's death. Why do we think that is? Why do we think there's so many different polar opposite opinions about the death of this man? Why do we think there's such strong opinions about his death? I mean, I really think it's for one simple reason. I think that Kevin, being the controversial person he was, never got the proper pushback that he needed in life. I really think that if people were this proactive in pushing back on him while he was alive, as opposed to chastising people for now feeling a sense of relief after his death, I think that maybe this conversation right now would be very, very different. The same people who are after the death of Jay Black and the two women and some other situations that took place, the very men who started campaigns and started programs within their platforms to be sure that they're cleaning up the manosphere, be sure that they're not just allowing any old kind of conversation to take place. Because I watched, and I admire you guys for that. I watched, and there's many other women that are watching. We may not always say something, but we're watching. I can admire this. But for where were you guys? Where was this energy of chastisement against Kevin? Maybe if there had been more heightened awareness to some of the misogyny, some of the disrespect that was coming from Kevin at the time when he was alive, okay? Maybe that would have now made a difference in the conversations we're having now. Because it seems like now in his death, now we've got this group on this side and this group on this side, and everybody's just kind of fighting back and forth, and there's no conversation. Where was the conversation amongst the men when he was alive? Where was the pushback? I'm not saying there were no men pushing back on him, because there were. But the same level of energy that you have of pushback now for the women who felt victimized by what he said. And you can see it in the comment section. See, this is Vivica's the type of woman that Kevin was talking about. Like as if Vivica is an invaluable woman because Kevin said she is, or because Kevin's idea of value is what everyone created in their minds as valuable. Now we're having an argument over who's valuable and who's not. See, these are conversations that should have been had with Kevin and pushback given to Kevin in life. Because then, and only then, would you really have an honest argument now. You understand what I'm saying? Like, only then really could you say, y'all wrong. Because I did push back at Kevin and I was like, you know what, Kevin? You wrong for how you coming for these women. You're wrong for that. And then, if he cleaned it up and then the ladies are coming at him or people are coming at him in death, that's understandable then. But he never cleaned it up. Like he literally died. And less than 12 hours prior, he made another hateful video to Black women. So who's at fault? You understand what I'm saying? Like, when are we going to change this whole attitude of men versus women versus men type of situation? Take that off the table and start talking to each other and not at each other. Because the conversation, okay, that y'all Godfather created, he created an environment for women and men to talk at each other, not to talk with each other. I don't care how much y'all try to say he was a relationship coach and he helped people get married and all this. He should have been married then when he died. You understand what I'm saying? Like he wasn't living the life that he was telling y'all. Regardless of what y'all want to believe. So at the end of the day, women are reacting to years worth of commentary from a Black man to other Black men that has created an environment of hate between both parties. We even got women who were jumping on the side of this just as pick-me's, just so they didn't have to be victimized by the fuck shit. Just so they can feel some sense of protection, whether they tell you that or not. Like, let's keep it a bean. The conversation that Kevin Samuels and many others have perpetuated into the universe has created this energy. And now it's time for us to clean that up. That means we have to start having real dialogue with each other, real conversations, really listening to one another. As the Manosphere and some of the many content creators were doing, there were a few of y'all that were doing this. Once Jay Black and the situation with that happened, that really shook that situation up. Continue doing that. Continue monitoring your chats. Continue having one another on each other's panels, talking back and forth and having real dialogue with each other. Not arguing, not bringing up Kevin points. It's time to bury that shit with him. And I'm sorry, I hate to say it like that. And that's no disrespect to his mother and no disrespect to his daughter or any other mothers of the earth in his life. But we need to bury the nonsense, the trash, the garbage talking, the bullshit. We need to bury that right in that grave. And that's facts. I'm going to go ahead and read a few of the comments. I do want you guys to know I am very excited about the new project, Shout Into the Void. You guys will be seeing that very soon. We are going to be doing some production for that tonight. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I just wanted you guys to know that it is coming soon, and I'm going to be sharing the link publicly very, very soon, as well as Breaking the Culture will be doing that as well. I really appreciate you guys for all the love and all the support and all the hate as well. Trust me, we absolutely love it. It is nothing but up from here, and we can care less about the hate. None of the hate is going to stop anything we're doing. I'm just letting y'all know, just in case you didn't know. But I just wanted to shout you guys out for that and let you guys know I truly, truly do appreciate you guys. Truly appreciate you. Hey, Nappy Yankee, I appreciate you. You said, so you and the crew invaded the thoroughest borough out Brooklyn. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love Brooklyn. I have several peoples that live up that way. So yeah, shout out to them. And shout out to you. I know you're from up there. Hey, Keisha Harris, I appreciate you coming in the building. You said OG Stranger 22. What's happening? Hey, Samba Queen. You said, hey, T Pre. What's up, Nappy Yankee? Which borough did they visit? I was in New York City, and I was also like in Manhattan. And then I went to Brooklyn as well for a while. You said, yep, Samba, you said Brooklyn. Hey, YM, I appreciate you being in. YM, I really, really appreciate that video that you produced for us for Shouting to the Void. That is so, so appreciated. Thank you so much. I know it took, some production, and I definitely appreciate that. Also to Keeper 116 for the video. Definitely appreciate that as well. At first, I was wondering where you had gotten the New York skyline and all that, because we were right in the heart of that town. So it's funny. And I didn't realize where you got it. And then I realized that it was from Keeper. So shout out to Keeper. Hey, Samba Queen, you said Brooklyn. Cool. I'm from Queens. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I know I've got peoples in Queens too. That's a little bit further though. Than yeah, but yeah, I know where it's at. You said, hey, YM social media. You said, hey to Samba. Hey, Nappy, this is your topic right here. You said, Nappy Yankee, you live last night was on point. I got to go check that out. I did hear that. Hey, Shannon B. Hey, True Essence, you said exactly. More people should have spoken up when he was alive. I agree. I just feel like now there's so much, energy being put, especially from, like, I expected it from, people who were already supporting him. But for people who weren't supporting him like that, I can't, I'm just perturbed by how they have all this energy for women, who are speaking out against this, like as if Kevin Samuels was some kind of saint or something. Like they don't know how disrespectful he has been in life. Like I'm not saying I disagree with everything, but I think he's really been like super misogynistic, on the verge of anti-black at times, and definitely anti-woman, and an anti-black woman. And I think it should be. I think they should stop ignoring that and stop pretending that women aren't just reacting to years of abuse from him. You said manosphere thrives because of feminism. If you want manosphere gone, feminism has to go as well. Well, who said the manosphere has to go? Because I'm not quite sure where you got that. I don't think the manosphere has to go. I think the manosphere needs to clean itself up. And I think there's a lot of content creators, excellent ones. Amawale Africa, Moxie Approved, there's several of them. The lead attorney is another one I actually fool with. There's several manosphere content that I actually approve of and really support. So no, the manosphere doesn't have to go. It's the incels within the manosphere, the ones that are in the chats, the ones that go live and threaten black women and those kinds of things. That needs to go. You said, Samba Queen, love him or hate him, but it takes a true low life individual to rejoice in his death. And it also takes a true low life to have sat back and just watched him rejoice in the pain and hate of black women. So both that goes both ways, BSP. You in the right place, baby. You definitely in the right live. AYM, you said, you're welcome, T Pre. It was fun to make the video. Oh, that was so awesome. I'm telling you, YM, we really, really appreciated that. You said, I say, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. He can't speak out ill of black women anymore. So rest in peace, my brother. My condolences to the family. Right. I agree with that. I think that, because, it is what it is. I personally don't want to wish death on him or wish any pain on anybody or anything like that. But I must say that, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Kevin Samuels was not, on some F shit during life, and that now, this is just the chickens coming home to roost. We're not going to pretend. You said, Samba Queen, your sentiment is the same as many black females. And hey, Taurus here. Hey, Vici, you said, blaming the chat again. T free. You know it, Vici. You know I'll get on the chat. They wrong. Yeah, I gotta definitely gonna call them out if they saying something. No. But yeah, I just wanted to be real quick, guys. I've got to get out of here because I got something to do in about 20 minutes with Shout into the Void. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this. I really think that, I'm confused about where all this energy is coming from now that he's dead. And now there's all this pushback against people who are speaking out against this, when really this is people who are responding to a person who has been on the verge of abusive and has said very many abusive things to black women, and has sat back and watched the abuse of black women after some of the things that he has said has become popular, and just pretend that those things did not happen. And now they've got all this, pushback for us. I really think, that that's important. Samba, you said, I never wished that he died. I said, motherfuck him when that nigga was alive. Facts. And that's facts. I remember saying, like, tuning out and just not even watching him and not dealing with him when he was alive, because there weren't enough people that were pushing back, particularly men. You know, they just weren't giving him the pushback. They weren't agreeing with him. They weren't jumping on his bandwagon, but they also weren't pushing back. But what makes me upset now is that they feel like they have all this energy to push back at the very women that they know this man was being hateful to. Like, what is going on here? you know, what is going on here? Hey, sometimes I appreciate you coming in. You said, and I could give a F about what people think about my sentiments. I know that's right, Samba. Same here, sis. That same here. That same here. You said those women go to his shows. He wasn't looking for them. You say that, and I hear that. But again, he knew what he was doing and pushing certain rhetoric out, okay, which he knew was causing hate amongst our people. We're not going to pretend that he wasn't looking for them. He did not have to provide that service. He also did not have to provide it the way that he chose to. So we're going to hold him accountable for that, not the women. And, I am holding the women accountable. I'm not just saying, that they should, that he made them come. But at the same time, he knew he was purposely harsh with them on purpose. And we're not going to pretend he wasn't. You said, hey to YM. You said, oops, Samba spicy right now. uh-huh. Samba about to get hype. You said, hey to Nappy, hey to Siga. You said, I spoke on his anti-black rhetoric and fruit roll tendencies when he was above ground. You sure did, Nappy Yankee. You and a few others, but there weren't many. And the ones who are speaking up now, the ones who were quiet when he was alive, I see them speaking up now. Like I said, I'm not going to name any names on who they are, but I'm seeing them speaking up now, and I'm shocked. Like, come on, y'all didn't have no pushback for this man, knowing the F shit he was doing. Y'all knew. Stop it. And you said, Samba, I didn't mention you. You was talking about those individuals. You said, sometimes I get carried away. Hey, peace. You said, oh, my bad, BSB. You said, since when did rich men need help finding wives anyway? Oh, NK. All right, y'all. I am out of here. I'm going to get out of here. I really do got to go. But I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. And again, like I said, I just find it flabbergasting that people feel like, they have all this pushback once again for black ladies. Anything that we have a problem with, we get a bunch of pushback. But when he was alive, none of y'all had a damn thing to say as pushback to him. And that's the part that gets me. All right, y'all. I am out of here. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. And thank you guys for watching. Peace, guys.